Hi, everybody.
What it do, baby boo?
How are you?
Great. Season 2, episode 2.
Yes, this is going to be a big old life update episode.
Shoo, y'all.
So if you don't care about us specifically,
Just
move right on.
pass on by this episode. Easy breezy.
There's so much
I
to
know.
update.
We took December off, which was fantastic. 35 episodes in 1 year was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm stoked about that. Episode 1, hope you enjoyed it, because Dr. Catherine Clinton.
Clinter. That's not her name.
Nope, not. Dr. Catherine Clinton.
Blew our minds.
She's a baller. I was thinking baller, which Clinter came out.
Got it.
I was like prepping for the next word.
I see. I'm still thinking about several things that she said, one of which is, are we meant to know everything or are we meant to appreciate all
That
things?
hit you so hard. I think that's my default.
I know. In some ways it is, but I get sucked in sometimes. Like I want to
Sometimes?
know I want to know all things because it makes me feel safe and secure.
Controlled.
Yeah.
It's all about control. But newsflash,
We have no control.
very little. Very little
I
control.
don't know though. It's a balance because the people that I talk to who feel like I have no control, me included sometimes.
Also all full of depression and darkness.
Yeah. So it's like we do have control over how we feel
100%.
and how we react, and we don't have control over the cosmos.
You're not learning about that. You're trying to learn
no,
about the cosmos.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It always starts with curiosity. I
Growth.
just need to, yeah, exactly.
which you are. You're growing.
I am. Mushrooms help.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a lot of growth in 24 too. I'm excited.
There's already
honestly.
been growth in 24.
Yeah, I feel different than I did
These 2 weeks have been wild.
for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Our child is going to a new school. That feels like a big thing. You also like casually removed some entities from her. That's a big thing.
Yeah, that was wild.
Josh performed an exorcism on our daughter, so there's that.
Zoe's been having some tough times.
Yeah.
Not anymore, but she was.
Okay, let's like back it up. She's been acting a fool. Not acting a fool. She's been clearly dysregulated is the word I would use. Comes home from school and is just like immediately like spiraling, tantruming, exhausted. And I visited her school a few weeks ago to read a book, and I sensed in the class, I don't feel energy like you feel energy, but I even sensed like an undertow of chaos.
Yeah.
And there's 24 kids in that class to one adult. So it made a lot of sense why she's been coming home feeling like that, like tense, easily set off.
Yeah.
So that was on our radar. And we're like, we've been really curious about kind of alternative schooling anyway. I think it just aligns better with our beliefs, with our values. And there just so happens to be this little Waldorf style school across the street from us. So anyway, we got that all set up, took her out of public school. She's now in a little Waldorf school, and it's adorable. They literally make bread and soup together.
It's great.
It's so sweet.
It's how school should be.
It's how,
at least in my opinion.
Yeah. They play outside. She's outside for at least 3 hours a day, which is, I think she was probably
Awesome.
outside for
I wish
like
I was outside for 3 hours a day.
I know. I want to go to this Waldorf school.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was, though, something else that I'll let you describe more about that also made a huge, so we sent in a scan for her, a Rudy scan, and it came back. And we've been, working with her as far as diet and supplements and remedies and things like that. And there was definitely an improvement. And then she started school. And then it kind of like we backslid a good bit. And
worse. She got worse than when she was when we started scans. Her
sweet nervous system and endocrine system, and I think her lymphatic system as well, they were all like in the 30s.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
And she's young to have that. Like, it's not that I've never seen that before, but it was just a little bit of a wake-up call. So we made some big decisions, but then I'll let you explain what happened with the entity.
Her tantrums kept getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
When I talked to my spiritual mentor, she was talking to me about entities and like, yeah, you're going to be experiencing that. It kept coming up a lot.
And for people who aren't in this, like me, what is entity? What does that mean?
Wow. I don't know if I could explain that fully. An entity has never experienced unconditional love. In many ways, it attaches onto a human and is meant to teach that human a lesson. But then it doesn't detach when the lesson is over.
Or at least not always.
Yeah. Typically, it's a bit of dark energy.
So that's how it feels to you.
And to the person that it's attached to.
Got it.
In most cases, maybe all cases, it's not going to come out pleasantly from the person. Okay. So like anger, fear, anxiety, whatever, where you like can't pinpoint what it is, like why you're feeling that way. Sometimes it can just be an entity. And most people have them, they come and go, but I guess I can clear them. So Zoe was having a lot of tantrums daily. What I started to do was I go with her in her room and I would just sit there quietly. My initial intention was just to bring in a calmer energy into her room in hopes that maybe I can influence her energy a little bit.
Generating
I would just
coherence.
rub off. Yeah. So I would sit there and meditate while she would be going batshit crazy. She would throw things, bang things. She would scream in my face.
Yeah.
And I would just sit there with my eyes closed, telling her that like her emotions don't scare me. I'm here when she needs me.
She'd be screaming at you to get out.
Yeah. She was pissed. Like I never really felt anything for a while. I would do that almost every day for a couple weeks straight. And then once I was like, I wonder if she has like any entities and if I could tap into it. So,
and this is before you've had any sort of like formal
training or experience in this. Nothing. I'm just winging it.
It was like one conversation with a mentor who now you're working more closely with after this experience. But
yep.
You're like, so sign me up for that, please.
Right. So I was like, I'll tap in. And I definitely was able to tap in pretty quickly. And I'm meditating. And all of a sudden I was like, I feel two other things in this room.
Wow.
And it definitely felt like dark energy. And so I approached both of them. I asked them their names. And one gave me their name right away. And the other one was like pretty resistant. So I was like, sweet, let me just clear this one. One thing that my mentor told me was you have to approach it with unconditional love and nothing else. So that's what I did. And I think a couple of times I may have felt it and I approached it with this big masculine energy, like protective energy.
Sure, because it's your daughter. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. But that obviously didn't work. So this time I approached it with a ton of gratitude and a ton of love and just told it, you're no longer needed. Thank you for the lessons that you've given her. Now it's time for you to leave and never return. Once I did that to the first one, her tantrum immediately went to like 50%. We have this on camera, like on her.
Yeah, her Nest Cam.
Her Nest Cam. Then I was like, holy shit, what just happened? So I was like, I might as well try the other one. So that one felt like pretty resistant. And so I remember my mentor saying, sometimes that's going to happen and you can use your soul's name to figure out their name and then send them off. So I did. And then it gave me its name and I sent it on its way. Within milliseconds, she went from screaming bloody murder to singing the ABCs.
Yeah, like she was still solemn, or like she wasn't like bubbly, but she went from screaming to just
singing the ABCs.
Yeah.
It was wild. And you should see my face. I wish I was on camera because I was around the corner, like sitting against the door. Yeah. I like opened my eyes and my eyes were like going back and forth, like, what the fuck just happened?
You just performed an exorcism.
And I'm not even joking. She's been a different kid since.
Yeah, she has. I mean, she still is 5 and she like has her
But
moments.
It was aggressive and intense. Yeah. And the energy was insane. Yeah. It's not like that anymore. I mean, she has her normal 5-year-old outbursts.
Yeah.
But that's what I would call them. Not like
45-minute long tantrums. Yeah.
That we couldn't regulate her no matter what we did. I'd put on Hertz music. We would try to breathe. I'd put on meditation. Nothing was working. She would just be like insane. Now she's not.
Yeah.
It was wild.
First of all, you're an amazing father because I don't know too many dads who are willing to sit in a room with a screaming child and tell them straight up, your emotions don't scare me. Like, thanks. I think if more male figures in our life made that statement and really lived it out, there would be so much healing.
Thanks.
Yeah. But also it was kind of hard because it felt like everything was falling on you because I was like a trigger for her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We definitely play different roles in her life.
Yeah.
So that just was the role that I had to play.
Yeah, it was wild.
But it worked.
So since then,
I've been clearing a shit ton of entities is what I've been doing.
The spiritual stuff that's happening with you and us is wild.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yep, that's exactly what it is.
And I will be the first to say, if I didn't see this firsthand, if I didn't know you for over a decade, know your character, know what makes you tick, like I know you well.
Yeah.
Probably better than anyone on this planet, aside from maybe yourself.
Yeah.
And I've watched the transformation happen. I would be so skeptical of you.
Same.
If I didn't know you.
Up until maybe a week ago, I was skeptical.
Yeah. But there's things that are just undeniable. The one thing with Zoe, that's one of maybe.
And I still was skeptical after that.
Yeah.
It was like that happened and I was like, the fuck was that?
Did that work? Yeah.
But then I couldn't do it on command.
Sure.
So I was like, I don't even know what that was. The heck? I was looking for a 3D confirmation.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting any. But now we're in a whole nother league.
It's wild.
So in January, I started working one-on-one with my spiritual mentor. And in the initial conversation that we had with her, obviously, I think we've explained those conversations. Yours was completely different than mine.
Yeah.
So I kind of went into it being super curious of, okay, what does this all mean? How do I do it? Teach me how. And she just kept being like, you're going to remember so fast. And I was like, whatever. Because it felt like when you have a word at the tip of your tongue, but you can't remember the word, that's what life felt like for the past couple months. I swear I know how to do this. It feels like it's right there. It happened.
Almost like a language that you spoke once, but you haven't spoken in decades.
It's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I had the first conversation with her. It was really great. It was pretty eye-opening.
I feel like ultimately your channel is just wide open right now.
Yeah.
Like you are getting
fairly overwhelming.
so much. And she even explained like for a time, it's going to maybe feel a little bit like a moth to a flame where it's like because you're so open, some of these, whether they're entities or souls or whatever, seeking help or seeking unconditional love that they've never felt before, whatever it is, they're going to start like flocking to you. And that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. It's
you're getting like wild information about friends and
things that I wouldn't
family
know.
members. Yeah. It's undeniable.
Now it is.
Yeah.
Now my skepticism's gone.
Yeah.
Even just in the past couple of days, I had an experience with a friend where there was just like some blockages and stuff. And I felt like I needed to pull an oracle card for this person. And so like when I began, I feel a lot from the cards. I just always have. So it's been one of those things where like my fingers tingle and stuff, and it all went away. And I was like, oh, like you just shut me out. And the conversation kind of evolved into, I felt like somebody was telling me that this person needed to put their hand on my hand. So I did that. And just like the entire energy shifted. And that was the first time where I was like, whoa, I felt like I was guided by something outside of myself to do that. And it worked.
The floodgates open. This person just totally released.
Yeah. It was wild. That was kind of like, oh, maybe I'm opening up a lot more. Backing up to the conversation with my mentor, I know that I have 7 guides. I communicate with them often. And that's been something I've been able to do. But she was like, there's another something here. She just was like, this person or this spirit keeps saying that he's a big deal. So we would like joke calling him Mr. Big Deal, like whatever. And he wasn't ready to present himself to me. He just said like, be on the lookout, like pay attention. And the following day after that information was received, I saw 555 everywhere. The following day after I saw 555 everywhere was my meeting with my mentor. He then presented himself, and I've been in communication with him now a lot. He is meant to protect me, and he's like up against my energy bubble. We all have an energy bubble, and nothing can come in it. That's ours to control, like our spirit's bubble. But he is touching it. And that's kind of the energy that I had been feeling the past couple of weeks of like, normally my guides feel a certain way, and this one feels like it's up in my space.
Yeah.
And he is.
And he's huge, right? Like
huge.
His energy is like
huge,
giant.
Huge. He says it like multiple star systems in human form. That's how big he is.
Wow.
But he's protecting me from a lot of stuff right now. He comes directly from the consciousness of the divine masculine. Boy, do I feel that. He feels like a freaking mobster. So I'm thankful for his protection. We're having a lot of conversations, which feels batshit crazy, but it's happening. But then even yesterday, I heard him say, you're ready to hear. So I texted my mentor and I was like, hey, whatever this means, he said I'm ready to hear. And she was like, I have a few guesses of what that could be, but we'll have to investigate that or whatever. Not even 10 minutes later, I started getting stuff about somebody that I know from like their guides. It was pinpointing things exactly, and things that I didn't have any idea about.
Yeah. Which later then you were able to, because we know and love this person, clarify with them. Is this right?
Yeah.
And like multiple things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't have even remotely even guessed those things.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the first time of like, oh shit, I'm open. So yeah, for the past week, it's just felt like all of my channels are open and so much is coming through. I mean, felt like I was talking to your guys for a little while in the car the other day and you were asking me questions that were just things were coming through. It's all new and weird and slightly makes me feel wild and batshit crazy. But then there's things coming through that are like, I'm channeling something.
Yeah.
It's not of me.
It's not even your vernacular, like your verbiage.
No. I can't know these things.
Yeah.
Multiple times that's happened now, not just with this one person, with other people. Like I was in contact with another person yesterday and we were having a conversation and I knew what she was talking about before she even said it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck is this?
So what do you feel like the purpose is for all of this? Like it's not just
I asked. I went to the 7th plane of existence, which is creation, and just like asked creator.
First of all, that's way too casual. What? You can't just say that.
There's 7 planes of existence. The 7th plane is where creation is, like the creator. Yep.
Okay.
And so I went there, and I have the ability to go there, and any question that I ask, I will get answered.
Does it feel like this is something we all have access to and we just don't tap in?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm very confident that we all have different types of gifts, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like mine.
Okay. Yeah, we're probably all
Neither
unique.
good or bad.
Yeah.
It's just I know that I have the ability to go to all 7.
Okay.
Not willy-nilly, but at free will.
Okay. So you went straight up to creator.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
Just like a blanket of love.
Okay.
Like my whole body was tingling. I felt really warm. I didn't want to leave.
Was it like bright light? Did you see things or like what is it?
I don't really see a whole lot.
Okay.
I
It's all
feel
like in
a
your
lot.
third eye, mind's eye sort of thing.
To get there, yeah. But once I get there, it's all like in my heart.
Okay.
And so the whole goal is to figure out like my soul's origin, like where I come from.
Okay.
Which like I think is relevant for me, but it's not relevant for anything else. I asked 3 questions. Where am I from? Can you show me where I'm from? So I visually saw that. And then what am I here for? And it said to help save people.
Yeah.
And that felt like pretty resonating. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that means yet, but I do feel like there's a lot of healing that's going to happen. And even just in the past couple of days with stuff that has come through and then communicated to the people that it's come through for, it's already begun healing. So I'm excited to keep going down this. It's all new. It just is incredibly overwhelming.
Yeah.
The past 4 or 5 days, I've just been like mentally exhausted because so much is just coming through all at once. I think a lot of it's when you are learning how to ride a bike on training wheels or something. It's just, I don't know, all the floodgates are open. So everything's coming through.
And I could imagine it would be hard to, once it's on, turn it off. Like how, are you constantly getting downloads all day? Is it distracting? Like, what does it feel like?
It's not, downloads feel different. It feels like a lot of things are attempting to communicate with me.
Okay.
So, and that's what happened yesterday. And even like asking this morning, like, why are you communicating with me now? And they were like, we've been trying to.
Oh.
And you're the closest to this person that can.
Oh.
So my mentor is like, it's kind of like a moth to a flame. Every type of spirit's going to be attracted to you because you have this. So the entities are coming to me. Like multiple entities came to me for people that I know, essentially not asking for help, but presenting themselves to me for me to clear them. And I did. This feels weird talking out loud.
Again, it's like
verbalizing this is strange.
I know. If I didn't see it firsthand and experience every single step of the way.
I've shared, not only you've experienced it now, like I've definitely been communicating with your guides. Things have been coming up that are undeniable. But then I've shared a couple of things that have come through for other people with consent. It's undeniable. I wouldn't even be able to remotely guess these things.
Mm-hmm.
They're so deeply
Random.
personal and random. And I don't know these people well enough. They're not like my sister.
Yeah.
To be able to pinpoint these certain things. Yeah. I don't know. It's wild.
Okay. So what's been coming in since we sat down?
Which is a lot of chatter right now. My main, who's protecting me, he's talking a decent amount right now. I feel your energy a lot. But I was telling you last night, we have a different type of connection than any other energy that I've worked with in the week that I've fucking had this. So I was pulling cards and then I could feel Erin coming to have me pull a card for her before she even came.
Yep.
She was in a meditation and I had the card already out on the table ready for her before she
as I was standing up. It was really bizarre.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, did you pull a card already for you? And you're like, no, this one's for me. And I was like, I just got up to ask. What?
Yeah, I could just feel a lot with that. Your guides haven't been like too chattery, but there were like a few things that came in.
You have to tell me everything always.
It's hard because one, it does genuinely feel exhausting.
Yeah. Okay.
Like this morning, I woke up. I didn't wake up. I wouldn't say it was like anxiety. It felt like a lot was going on. I felt like multiple different energies. I couldn't figure out what they were. I had to like sit in meditation. I went to my safe space to re-energize. I asked for that energy to come into my space, and the anxiety or that feeling of energy kind of went away. But it feels like it's just because I've just been receiving for 4 days straight. It's been incredibly overwhelming. So a couple of people that have talked to me about it, especially ones that I've been receiving things for, they think it's really cool. And like it's
like a party
superpower a little bit. Yeah. I would say that like I wouldn't categorize this as fun.
Yeah. It feels in a lot of ways like a gift that you're giving to the person.
Very much. And it doesn't take away from me in a way that I don't want it
Sure.
too, but I definitely have to give energy to it.
Mhm.
I think over time, I'm going to be able to control that a little bit more. My mentor calls it like office hours, and it's definitely work. Like I've definitely closed shop at night. I don't think I did a well enough job last night, which is why I think I woke up a little anxious. It felt like a lot was at my door is the best way to describe
People were
it.
lining up.
Yeah.
Spirits were lining up.
Even Mr. Big Deal was like, can you take care of this?
Got my hands full.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
There's humor involved. There's not sarcasm, but
that's what surprised me the most.
That's why I didn't think it was that.
Yeah.
Like when I first started hearing Mr. Big Deal, he wasn't prim and proper and
borderline a-hole personality, right?
Yeah,
I'm always like afraid that I'm going to get struck by lightning.
Say fuck, but not asshole.
Asshole.
You just said a-hole.
I know. Knowing how enormous he is and like how macho and masculine, I'm always like afraid to talk shit about him.
Yeah, he's going to come and zap you. Yeah. So I started to feel that energy come through before he like officially presented himself in the 2 weeks before. But at the same time, in those 2 weeks before, another confession that I have is I'm definitely into romance fantasy books. So there's that.
Josh has been reading the very popular / scandalous.
They're popular in the female community for sure. I'm for sure in the 1% of the 1% of men that have read it because I'm also straight. But it's awesome. It's by Rebecca Yarros. Shout out Rebecca Yarros. Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. And it's about riders who bond with dragons and then through their bond are able to channel powers from their dragon. She does a really great job of character development. And one of the main dragons, his personality is pretty unique. And he's the second largest dragon known to man. And he has that presence. And he's definitely divine masculine. He's not like snarky, but he's old. He like doesn't really play with bullshit. He doesn't like to be disrespected. And he definitely looks at humans. Obviously, they're not equal.
Got it.
And when the energy of Mr. Big Deal started to come through, it almost emulated that dragon.
Okay.
And so I was like, I think I'm too deep into these books is what I am.
I mean, you were deep.
I know, but I was like, I think I'm like way too deep. But he's not exactly like it. Like he's definitely made it known the differences between him and that dragon. But he does come across in many ways like that dragon.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's been, call me batshit crazy. But
what do you see as far as the future for this goes? Like you're just going to kind of continue to explore and see what unfolds, what happens? Like are you going to do readings for people? Like
I have no idea. I mean, I'm definitely in the infancy of all of this. Yeah. I definitely feel like I'm becoming more and more confident. This past week, having things actually be true, I think is like, okay.
I'm confident at you.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident in that. That's for sure. I do believe that more is coming. So I think there's just time for me to integrate into all of this and really fully understand what this all means. Already people are being like, you need to coach people.
Yeah.
So I had a message this morning with somebody that we had a conversation when all my channels were wide ass open. She was like, you need to be coaching women. Like you are the masculine presence that so many women want.
Yeah, like what I was saying before.
Yeah.
With Zoe.
Yeah.
How many women specifically live their entire life not really knowing what divine masculine feels like? It's so fucking twisted now in our culture. Like nobody experiences that.
Yeah. I grew up with women like all around me.
Yeah.
The female energy is something I'm really comfortable with and deeply respect. But I think it's just going to be a natural evolution. And as I grow in this and evolve, it's just going to come out as it needs to come out. So I definitely am in the baby stages of all of this and just trying to figure the fuck out.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. I'm trying not to like cheapen it to like a party trick because I know it's meant for way more than that, but it's so much of it for me.
It's good practice.
Because I have been so desperate for and longing to connect with whatever the fuck is out there.
Your guys are pretty needy.
They're needy?
Yeah.
Okay, like they come to you or what?
Yeah. I mean, they're as needy as you feel you are.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
You keep on saying like a party trick. You ask me a ton of questions and you're wanting to learn more and more about yourself. They're just the same.
Okay.
They just communicate to me a lot.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like irrelevant. That's not irrelevant. I don't want to discredit what they're saying, but it's like, I hear you guys. Yeah. You don't have to keep proving yourselves to me. Like we're connected.
But I feel like this is an access point for me. And it also has like totally expanded my belief. I already knew that there was and is something bigger out there, whatever that is. And I've had experiences, I think we've actually talked about them on the podcast, where I felt like they're like trying to, shake me a little bit or just make me aware of their presence.
Yeah.
I think I just crave like more clarity, or I don't know. What is it that you're trying to, just your presence, just your love, just your...
For now.
Yeah. For me, it's been really exciting because I feel like I've been like on the other end of radio silence for a while and finally kind of tuning in. So
your antennas are going up.
Yeah.
It feels weird kind of like putting it all out there, especially with how fresh it is, but
and also
it's becoming a huge piece of me.
It is. And yet it's balanced in such a way that like you still have a 3D job. Like we pay our bills, we pay our taxes. Like,
oh yeah. I mean,
I don't know. It feels like
it's just an added layer.
Yeah.
You were asking me last night, like, I definitely understand why loneliness kept coming up in my breathwork sessions. This definitely feels like everyone around me isn't experiencing the same thing. So it definitely feels like I need to find more people that are experiencing similar things for me to have discussions with them and just like connect. But at the same time, it really just feels like when we transitioned from westernized medicine to holistic or functional medicine, your eyes kind of open of like, oh shit, I thought this was good for me. And then it wasn't. And then we decide that's really not good for me, regardless of if it's good for anybody else. It felt like we kind of had that new knowledge. Like bioenergetics is that we're just trying to educate people as much as possible about it because so many people don't know about it.
Yeah.
And it feels like we have a piece of information that many don't.
Or some veil is lifted.
Yeah, that's exactly the feeling that this is. I don't necessarily feel like there's an existential crisis. I don't feel stuck in the 5D or like the mystic side of these things versus my 3D life.
That's the weirdest part, is that you're actually doing both
at the same time.
When we are when you're connecting to my guides, for instance, or spirits that are with me, you're like driving and also communicating to me.
Yeah.
But like I can tell when it's channeled versus when it's you. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It is wild. If anybody wants anything, I need practice.
Yeah.
So tap in and I'll tap it.
I'll tap into you.
The other thing, it's laughable now with the ideologies that I had prior to experiencing all of this of like, what can they see? Like, I'm so scared of what all they're going to find.
Oh.
I only see what's meant to be shown.
And right. It's not like you're going digging, looking for it. Yeah.
So it's hysterical. It's just like exactly what you need at that
We've
time.
had multiple people, I can tell, that feel... One person has actually told me I feel naked in front of Josh.
Yeah.
It's not like you're like have x-ray vision and you can see into their deep dark places or anything.
No.
It's just whatever needs to be communicated for that person's highest good is what is passed along, is at least my interpretation.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is like they're choosing for what to be known and not.
Yeah.
It's their energy.
Yeah.
Not mine. So I'm just tapping into the guides that are directly around them or whatever it is. That's the other thing. Like sometimes it's other spirits or there's entities there or and it's, I don't know, it's wild. It's fucking wild.
More to come. To come.
Literally, I'm a weekend.
That's the coolest part too. Like I said that yesterday, like you're 1 week in, what the heck is it going to look like?
I know.
In 6 months, a year?
It felt like it was coming. I didn't think it was going to come like this though.
Yeah. She kept saying, your mentor was like, it's going to come back. Like you don't
You're
have
gonna
to
remember.
try.
Yeah. Stop worrying about how it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But I didn't think it was going to come in like a freaking
freight train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. But you've had some growth too the past couple of weeks.
True. I don't talk to spirit guides, but yeah, I feel like there's just been so much new in our life. I started A Course in Miracles, which is something I've been curious about for years. And I don't know why I hadn't never done it before. I think it was just a little too close to religion for me that I was turned off by it for a while. It was also presented to me initially as Jesus channeled through a person into text. And so I was really turned off by that for a while.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, hell yeah, I bet it really was Jesus probably channeled. So yes, it's been great. I'm only like 10 days in, but I can feel the author or co-author. Authorship is a little bizarre when somebody channels a thing, but the person who channeled this says that Jesus calls it a necessary course in miracles, meaning all people, I don't want to say all people need it, but essentially like it's a necessary perspective shift And like really, if you look back at the person of Jesus, that's all the Bible and Christianity. It's gotten all muddied up from culture and politics and whatever. But really, that's all Jesus was trying to convey, was this like important shift in perspective.
Sure.
And yeah, so it's just like a little daily reading. And at first it was a little bit kind of, I was getting a little like existential because it was like essentially everything is meaningless kind of is where it starts, or everything is not really what is. And so it's those sorts of kind of concepts. I can see where it's kind of going now, and I'm excited because I feel like, I don't know, it feels like it's opening me up to something.
It is.
Yeah. So that's new. What else is new? Rudy's been busy. Like I feel I've been like
You're
full-time Rudy, which is really fun.
You quit your hospital job.
I did. I sure
And now
did.
You're full-time with Rudy.
I know. It's been
wild.
really fun. I don't feel overwhelmed for once in my life. So that's great for a few reasons. I mean, I think I've just been more mindful. I'm doing some other things in my life to help, again, shift that perspective and those kind of limiting beliefs. But I don't, it's just been a good season. I had the realization last night as I was like trying to fall asleep that I'm in one of those seasons that I was looking forward to before. And I'm like, how often do you actually take a second to be like, oh, I'm here? Well, like, I'm here. I'm doing the thing that I wanted to do for so long and felt like maybe I wouldn't be able to or whatever. So that was cool. And not that I'm satisfied or not that I'm complacent here, but that I'm really grateful and I acknowledge that I'm here. And this is a place I wanted to be.
It's a great perspective.
Yeah. It's a little bit trippy. It feels quantum-y. I don't know. Like looking at past me and being like, hey, you did it.
Totally. High five me.
Yeah. I don't know what's to come. I feel way less frantic. Like my energy feels less frantic.
Completely different.
I feel like I'm chasing less and inviting more, I guess. I still have moments of like frantic or chasing kind of energy. Yeah. But honestly, I think this experience of watching you has just blasted open my faith in general, faith in source, God, creator, whatever is this common thread between and among all of us. Like I feel like that faith bubble has expanded, and now I can kind of trust fall a little bit into that safety net that I like feel now around me. I feel like I'm co-creating a thing, not like I'm trying to force a thing or manufacture it. I don't know.
You're in flow.
Yeah. So it feels nice.
Welcome.
Yeah. I just feel overall grateful and excited. Yeah. It's been a while since I felt like this.
And it's a season that like while you are in flow, like growth can have growing pains.
Yeah.
That exists, and there's hurdles and bumps, and sometimes like things boil to the surface that you got to deal with. But you're starting to see like actual evolution and growth instead of like being stagnant or stuck in the mud. Yeah.
There's so many patterns though. Like even last night I sensed when I was sending you all those Enneagram things. Yeah. First of all, they were hilarious. Even last night I sensed myself like, what are you numbing?
Yeah.
Like, why are we scrolling still?
I went to bed and you were still on the couch alone.
I just get stuck. There's still human stuff. There's always going to be.
We're all going to have that.
Yeah, but overall, I feel excited about where we're at.
Me too. It just feels like there's massive shifts happening all at once.
It feels like we know ourselves so much more than we did even a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Not only do we know ourselves more, but we're like making physical 3D changes in our life to honor those people now, if that makes sense. Yes. Like even just the pulling of our daughter from public school, it felt bigger than just school, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
It felt like, okay, we're making decisions now based on who we are now.
Yeah,
not who we should be or who society tells us to be or who even our parents want to, like all these things that are usually playing into our decisions.
That was, I think, a huge piece of when my channels opened. I had to just like release fear of what people were going to think.
Yeah. Judgment is so funny now. It feels like dumb. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Judging one another, judging ourselves. It just feels...
That's crazy coming from you because you're Mrs. Compare.
Yeah.
You just had an aha moment.
I don't know.
Your eyes were just like, oh yeah.
I just feel
that's gone.
When you
Holy
shit. Gone. It's not gone, but it feels silly.
I think not to defend what I was fearful of in the judgment, but I genuinely think I cared more about the people that I loved, you and Zoe, than what would happen to me. Like, I feel like I could take the judgment.
Which is interesting. Like, what were you afraid would happen? People would think we're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Or...
Yeah. This is the next level of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So,
well, first of all, I am cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I love Cocoa Puffs. Shit, I haven't had those in 10 years. But like releasing this, even this episode, or just being more out in the open with this, I know is going to have ramifications with relationships that we cherish. That's directly going to affect you and Zoe as well. So like for me, I'm like, I just continue to become more my authentic self. And I think if we all were willing to do that, we would all experience similar things that I'm experiencing. Like, I think you have gifts as well. I think everybody does. I think we're all just kind of like walking around numbed and blind to what else is out there. And I think a lot of it's driven by fear or comfort.
Almost verbatim, like reciting A Course of Miracles. You don't know that, but you are.
Hey.
So yeah, it's like miracles are natural. It's when we're not seeing miracles left and right that something is wrong.
Totally.
But we've become so accustomed to never seeing miracles.
Yeah.
We don't believe that they're real.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that was where my fear was rooted, and I wasn't allowing myself to fully open up because I didn't want it to hurt anybody that I loved.
It also is making a little more sense this season of kind of not dramatic, just the season of isolation. I crave community so deeply, and we've talked about this, I'm sure, on the podcast before. Our circle is real small. Like we have, I can count on one hand how many people I feel safe actually talking. People. They're great people, and there's no judgment.
Yeah, it felt safe.
We don't necessarily agree or have the same experience, but it's making more sense now why that season is necessary, because I think about the friendships that I had 5-10 years ago. They just would make no sense now.
Or they'd immediately dissolve.
Yeah. Not for any moral failing on either part. It's just that like the two aren't resonant anymore. I don't know. Not everyone's into talking about aliens and what else.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you. I get real giddy when I think about us right now, too.
It's great.
I really do. We're on some cosmic mission together.
We are. Newsflash.
Yeah. So I don't know what that means yet or what the future looks like, but I don't know. I feel like our souls are doing some cosmic tap dancing right now.
Oh my gosh. What an analogy.
Picture it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you.
Love you too.
Stay open, people. Either stay open or unsubscribe.
Yeah, because who knows what the fuck the rest of this season's going to be like. I don't know if you've listened to episode 1 and 2 of season 1, but it's a hell of a lot different than episode 34 and 35. So
yeah, we did decide, I think we're going to stick with Pickle Lane. We don't want to box ourselves in to only talk about Rudy. So
pals. You're still there.
You're still our pals. And now I'm going to go make some merch.
Yeah, go make some shirts for us all.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's all I got. I'm tired now.
I know, me too. Love you guys. Stay open.
Bye.